The notorious ex-Hells Angels Sergeant-at-Arms Dayne Brajkovich found himself at the center of a targeted attack. Assailants slit his throat in a surprise ambush outside the Ministry of Sound classical EDM concert at Perth's Kings Park and Botanical Garden. He underwent emergency surgery soon after and walked out of Royal Perth Hospital the following day with a massive bandage around his neck. Western Australian Police Commissioner Col Blanch suggested that a Gumtree ad could have been what initiated the attack. According to police, Brajkovich was not cooperating with the police investigation into the stabbing. Western Australian police are also looking into whether motorcycle clubs are behind the brawl, with a group of people who witnessed the incident saying those involved had left the area on several motorcycles. Dayne Brajkovich, once the heavily tattooed Sergeant-at-Arms of the West Australian Hells Angels, is no stranger to controversy. His notoriety reached new heights in 2020 when he made headlines for engaging in a vicious brawl with a former Rebels Pack commander, Nick Martin. The fight was captured on CCTV cameras, with the footage showing Brajkovich and Martin greeting each other with a handshake. But moments later, the violence erupted, with Brajkovich repeatedly punching Martin, who at one point crashed into tables as other patrons fled the scene. 2 weeks after the altercation, Nick Martin was fatally shot and killed on December 12, 2020, while at Perth Motorplex with his family. About 2,000 people were at the Motorplex when the shooting occurred, and Nick Martin was watching the event with his wife, stepdaughter, and her partner, who was injured when the bullet that killed Martin lodged in his arm. Martin was shot dead about 335 meters away by a paid hitman using a sniper rifle. The 35-year-old hitman was later arrested and admitted to planning and carrying out the shooting in return for being paid $100,000. The man also admitted to researching Martin, including flying a drone over his house and following him, even going to the Motorplex less than a month before the shooting and standing within 10 meters of him. In the hours before the shooting, the man went to the venue and watched as Martin took his usual seat on the terrace. The man then left to put on his camouflage gear before crawling through a hole in the fence he had cut in the days before and taking up his pre-planned position. He looked through the scope of his high-powered rifle for about 10 to 15 minutes before firing a single shot and killing Martin. The hitman was given 20 years behind bars and avoided a life jail term because he promised to testify against the alleged mastermind of the killing. It was later revealed that Dayne Brajkovich was not the one behind the attack. However, 3 months later, Brajkovich's home was targeted and sprayed with bullets in a drive-by shooting. The rear of his home was shot at up to 5 times, prompting police to swarm the normally quiet street. A stolen black Porsche used in the shooting was spotted on CCTV at the time of the attack. The vehicle was later found burned not far from the place of interest. It is not clear what prompted the drive-by shooting, but it was likely retaliation linked to the fight Brajkovich had with Martin. Skipping forward to January 16, 2022, Brajkovich was expelled from the Hells Angels after a violent altercation with the Perth chapter president. The incident took place at the clubhouse, where Brajkovich confronted the president and a violent altercation occurred between them. However, Brajkovich claimed that he didn't anticipate that it would be his last time in the clubhouse. 2 days later, he received a phone call informing him that he was out of the Hells Angels. Subsequently, he gathered all his Hells Angels gear, filled 8 large garbage bags, and disposed of them at a donation bin. Brajkovich expressed his dissatisfaction with the level of violence, stating that the incident at the clubhouse was the only violence he witnessed during his 4 years with the Hells Angels. He said he found it ironic that he, known for his violent tendencies, was expelled for being too violent. Brajkovich also faced trial for illegally displaying bikie insignia and tattoos, with his wife, Jacinta Hill, testifying in his defense. According to her, Brajkovich had been dismissed from the Hells Angels for bashing the president. Despite the legal battle, Brajkovich emerged victorious, acquitted of the charges. Brajkovich also mentioned that he was selling off all of his old bikie merchandise and moving on with his life, which police believe could have been the reason that he had his throat slashed at the concert. Let me know what you think down in the comments below. Make sure to like and subscribe for more upcoming content.